Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. Please let us know where you're joining in from. Namaste, Vijayji. Welcome from Houston. And I'm currently zooming in from Los Angeles. Welcome, Aditji from Toronto. Where are you joining us from? Oh, welcome. Mita G from Dallas. Welcome. Welcome, Sashikant G from San Francisco.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate.
Started in about 3 minutes.
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate.
Welcome to everyone who is joining. We'll be getting started in about 2 minutes with Ayurveda Essential Nutrition. And we're going to stop this. I'm going to stop the share. We're going to get started in just a minute here. Get the chat on. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Namaste, Rupali ji. How are you?
I'm doing good, Shilpa. How are you? Namaste, everyone.
Good. Welcome. So it's 6 o'clock here on Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to get started with our webinar tonight, Ayurveda Essential Nutrition with Dr. Rupali Panse. I'm your host, Shilpa Agarwal, and I'm an author, healer, and also faculty at HUA. I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Panse to speak with you today about her upcoming class on Ayurveda Essential Nutrition, offered this winter quarter at HUA every Thursday, starting at 9 p.m. EST, 6 p.m. PST, starting January 18th, I believe, 2024. Dr. Rupali ji has 20 plus years of experience in clinical Ayurveda, Panchakarma, and Ayurvedic nutrition. She practices as an integrative nutrition, wellness, and lifestyle consultant in Orlando, Florida. She is vice president of the Ayurveda Association of Florida. She is also an author and has published many books on Ayurvedic diet, nutrition, and even an animated book on menstruation for teens. Dr. Rupali ji enjoys regular blogging to spread awareness about Ayurveda and the importance of proper diet and lifestyle in preventing and curing health problems. And I have been one of her former students and have enjoyed her class on nutrition. I think it was maybe a year ago. So Dr. Rupali ji is a wealth of information on nutrition. We learned about cooking. We learned about food combinations and many other things. But I'm going to leave that for Rupali ji to talk to us about. So welcome to everybody from all around the country and the world to our webinar tonight. We look forward to hearing more about Ayurveda and nutrition from Dr. Rupali ji. So welcome.
Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you so much for such a warm introduction. And I'm so excited to interact with all of you. Namaste, everyone. And I can see many of people are joining from many states and countries. So it definitely, everybody loves food. It shows that everybody is interested in learning about food. So instead of me only talking about the course, I would definitely love to interact. If anyone has any questions, doubts, or anyone has to share something, it will be more of an interactive session, Shilpa. And yes, I'm very excited to start my third batch of Ayurveda Essential Nutrition for HUA. It has been a wonderful two batches previously. And yeah, Ayurveda nutrition or food is always inseparable part of my own practice also from many years. Overall, the concentration of my practice or focus of my practice is basically on how to modify diet habits, how to modify the perception of looking towards various food, eating habits, and minimizing the medicines and giving more concentration on food medicine, you can say. So for HUA, Ayurveda Essential Nutrition and Ayurveda Advanced Nutrition, two courses we have introduced, but winter 2024 will be for Ayurveda Essential Nutrition. And I will say
So
that
Dr. Rupali ji, I'm actually wondering if you could tell us a little bit more. I would love to just start with your own experience in, because you do a lot of cooking yourself in your own health and the difference as you've kind of done more of this work for yourself. What are the differences you've seen in your own life? I know you've taught us a lot about nutrition, food combinations, things like that. I'm very interested in, you're very passionate about this. How have you seen this change in your own life?
Oh, definitely. Before start my practicing or before coming to the Ayurveda, definitely my perception towards food was, whatever tastes good or, it's time to eat. So let's go and eat something or let's just, finish the task. It was only that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I start my own practice and, when I become a mom or when I have to take care of my own kids and overall all these things, when I came across, it definitely gave me a whole new perception of cooking and eating. And I still remember my story about Ayurveda nutrition because that was my first day of my inauguration of my clinic, and I was waiting for patient, and fortunately I got my first patient on my day one of inauguration. And that case taught me a lot, because I was very excited with every kind of Ayurveda knowledge and all the herbal medicines in the, in my new clinic. And I wanted to try all type of therapies on that particular patient, but I didn't get any results in spite of using good Ayurvedic formulation and whatnot. Then I again revisited my books, and then I found, okay, something is wrong. It's not about only medication, it's about the gut, it's about healing the gut, healing the mind, healing the, not only healing the body, but it's about gut, mind, body, soul. That is the holistic approach Ayurveda looks to. And when I started working on her gut modulation, on her metabolic fire, Agni is the word we call for that. And then I started getting very promising results about her. And overall, not only I was able to treat her health condition at that time, but I'm so thankful that I was able to overall modify her lifestyle and her food habits through for her, like for lifetime, and not only for her, but her family also benefited from the same happened with me, because of being Ayurveda practitioner and then being Ayurveda student for lifetime. Every day I learn from Ayurveda, every day I try to improve my own lifestyle and my own overall health profile with the help of food and with the help of herbal combinations and Ayurveda lifestyle. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it started with
Wonderful.
my life. Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, it's a great story. And you mentioned healing the gut, and we're hearing more and more about this. I would say in the last 10 years, it feels like there's been a lot of attention on healing the gut, leaky gut syndrome, things like that. And it feels like this is in Ayurveda, this is like a very important, like the Agni, the digestive fire, and the gut seem very central to the rest of the body's health and well-being. Can you just address that?
For sure, definitely. Mind, body, and gut is always connected. There are so many supplements, Shilpaji, talk about anything prebiotic, probiotic, vitamin D, omega, and this and that. You know, uh, these are kind of proven solutions to few problems, but still, these 100 types of supplements or 100 types of molecules are not benefiting to cure a particular health condition. So that is the restriction of these medicines, because answer lies in the gut health. You cannot just apply the patches on your gut, but you need to understand, you need to know yourself very well. What is your body type? What is your gut type? What is your metabolic type? These are very important questions. And we try to Google, we try to find all the answers outside our body, but
Mhm.
we never have communication, we never have a close talk with our own self, right? So
Mhm.
basically Ayurveda and this course is designed to introduce very crucial theories from Ayurveda dietetics, which you may not be able to learn on your own
Mhm.
using Google Guru, because
Mhm.
Google Guru always gives you the food list. You want to heal your gut, okay, asparagus, artichoke, and whatnot, right? But everything is not about food items.
Mhm.
uh, it's how to use those food items suitable to your prakriti, suitable to your body type,
Mhm.
and what not to do. That is also very important. Even if you are provided all the good supplements, all good micronutrient rich food, still that food may not benefit you, because your Agni is not good, your
Mhm.
age is not appropriate to that kind of food, your health condition demands something more or something less many times.
Mhm.
Maybe your eating habits are you are doing various food mistakes, which we are not at all aware of, because there are so many unique concepts in Ayurveda that you will learn for the first time in your life. Now you being a student, you can definitely throw some light on this, whatever concept you have learned in this course, or what do you
Well, I
feel
learned that there were
unique about
certain
it?
conditions in which you could eat things, or there were certain conditions, like, for example, ghee and honey was not a good food combination. It was actually both. I mean, ghee is very good for the body, honey is very good for the body, but you don't combine them together because then that becomes an adverse food combination for the body. So learning things like that, like just because it's good, you're not going to throw it all in a smoothie and say, like, let me drink it and it's all good stuff, because they have different effects in the bodies, and sometimes it can counteract each other. I think that was one of the major points you were bringing across in terms of incorrect food combinations and things like that, that I recall. I don't have ghee
Yes.
and honey together.
And I remember, I mean, previous batches, there was so much interaction going on. Everybody having so many questions, queries, their own experiences, and they really wanted to make change in their own food habits, own personal wellness, lifestyle, profile, and whatnot. It was really fun to interact with all of you at that
Yeah.
time. And
So
I
I'm
can
wondering,
see
like,
that.
let's say I come in and I know some about Ayurveda. Let's say I'm just a random student. I know some about Ayurveda. I know what I could say I'm Vata Pitta. I know that I have to, like, eat certain foods. And I'm following a general Ayurvedic diet. How is this going to deepen my knowledge? How am I going to, what am I, like, I know that I need to eat more warm cooked foods because of the Vata. I know my biggest meal has to be in the noontime. I know that I don't drink cold water. I drink room temperature or warm water. So I know some basic things about my health, and I'm sure that most students come in knowing their, dosha, things like that. So how are we then in the class taking this, going deeper with this, with,
That is really a good
understanding?
question, Shilpaji, because this is I mean um, this is a great question because many people are really very much aware of the various perspectives of Ayurveda. But I will give you an example. Suppose I know how to run the computer, I know how to operate the computer,
Mhm.
or I can use some apps on my mobile phone, but I'm not expert in that. This is the superficial knowledge for my own. uh, it's time being purpose. But whenever I have some kind of issue in my laptop or in my phone, I have to request my husband because he is IT specialist or he can help me more. So being a general physician and being a specialist, so difference is always there. And
Mhm.
even if you are aware of some Ayurveda concepts like tridosha, body type, and general guidelines, etc., the basic difference, or basic unique thing about this course, I will say that we are presenting all these theories because um, practice orientation is very important. I know theory, but how to apply it in my day to
Mhm.
day life, that is more important, I guess. So even if I'm reading a lot of articles on dosha type and dosha food, but I don't know how to use that food, or how to use those guidelines in my own life, or for some of my clients, or families or friends, etc., so
Mhm.
there is no use of that, all the collection of knowledge. So this course will guide you. This course will teach you to identify food mistakes, to
Mhm.
identify the Ayurvedic properties of food, along with the general nutritional profile, and how nutrients act differently in everybody's body.
Mhm.
The individualistic approach will be the, I'll say, this will be the very unique point about this class. And there are very important theories we are going to talk about. For example, six taste theory. This theory seems very, what to talk about taste. Okay, there are sweet, sour, salty. Okay, that's it. We know taste in reference to only, taste or tongue perception, right? But Ayurveda says that no, this sweet or this sour or this salty taste is going to express the properties, or is going to express the impacts up to your genetic level. So that is a very unique
Mhm.
thing. And we
Mhm.
will discuss, and we will talk about cases and how to look at those cases and how to come up with the very simple solutions from your kitchen. And there are some simple spice formulas. For example, trifala. Trifala is a very popular spice. I will not say spice combination, but herbal combinations.
Mhm.
But how to use that trifala as a food, or black pepper, false pepper, ginger, garlic. We are going to talk about various medicinal properties, so that sometimes there are minor health conditions and you may not go and open that painkiller box, or you don't have to take even pill if you have familiar with the properties, medicinal properties of the humble food, humble herbal combinations and spices in your kitchen. So there are very interesting sessions. Among them will be incompatible food, which is a very talked about controversial subject,
Uh-huh.
where everybody is promoting smoothies. I make my smoothies using lots of green vegetables, adding some yogurt, some good fruits. So I'm getting iron, I'm getting a calcium, I'm getting good nutrients. So I'm good for that. No, why not good? We are going to talk about that also.
So are you going to, I remember from the class, you actually did give us some recipes and you have that in your book as well. You have a lot of recipes. Are you going to be, there's a question here about, giving actual recipes. Is that going to happen in the classroom?
Yeah. So, absolutely, we are going to talk about many recipes,
Mhm.
and these recipes will be, I will say, it will trigger you to explore more recipes using the basics recipe.
Mhm.
And there will be very interesting topic of Pathya food, which is my own favorite. That every disease has its own protocol regarding food, and how to use that protocol, Pathya food protocol, to benefit quickly or to recover quickly or to
Mhm.
prevent the relapse of that disease is a very important topic. So I will be talking about recipes of Fatya food also. And I agree that teaching recipes online is really very difficult job. But if you remember, I had compiled some videos which I cooked in my kitchen, but I recorded for you and I
Mhm.
shared with you.
Mhm.
So it will be quite interesting to learn about those recipes. A few recipes will be as old as Vedic eras, and very simple recipes and very interesting recipes of ancient era you will be learning. And there will be some fusion recipes, modern recipes, like, I love pasta, I love pizza. If somebody is coming with, my kid is not okay to eat only roti sabji or like that. So how I can modify those food items and make them more healthy. So we are
Mhm.
going to talk about that also in classes.
Wonderful. So how important, here's another question. How important is it to know one's prakriti or like dosha before we decide on a diet?
Oh, absolutely. It is a very important thing because nobody is you. I mean, nobody is copied by nature. Every individual is unique in many ways. Not only fingerprints, not only your retina, but your thoughts, your genetic expressions. Nobody looks alike, right? So
Mhm.
there are so many millions of individuals, but nobody looks similar to each other.
Mhm.
So we have our own environment, we have our own nature, not only physical, but we do have our unique psychological profile also.
Mhm.
And that is the very complex combination of tridoshas, vata, pitta,
Mhm.
and kapha. So basic elements are same, like cement, bricks, glasses,
Mhm.
wood. So these are basic elements in the construction, but the proportion and the distribution is responsible for the unique body type
Mhm.
of every human being. And understanding the generalized category, vata type, pitta type, kapha type, or combination type, it will help you uh, to keep those doshas balanced, and
Mhm.
how food can imbalance them, and how food only can restore them. So this is a very unique approach. So I think it is really very important to know the body type before you advise any medicine, before you diagnose disease, or before you decide any diet plan for a human. And simple thing, one shoe size doesn't fit everyone. That is the principle behind this theory. And in today's era, it is really very important because PPP, personalized, preventive, and prediction. These are the very important three P's in today's health sector. And using Ayurveda principles, we can predict. There is a very a popular verse. It says that show me your friends and I will show your future. So I always say that show me your freeze, show me your refrigerator, or show me your thali, and I can predict your disease.
Wow.
So,
Which,
so if somebody
when you
is,
talk, when you speak about the, individualized, knowing our prakriti, knowing our dosha, knowing, our constitution, one of the things I remember from your class is like this idea we have in the West, which is the food pyramid, right? You get all your vegetables, then you get a certain servings of starches, and then the sweets are at the very top. And you kind of, I remember you brought that up in class and you kind of talked about this idea of the food pyramid and then in contrast to Ayurvedic principles. Can you just touch on that?
sure. This is really very important because food pyramid is kind of as old as the real pyramid. I remember even when I was in first standard, first time I introduced to food pyramid. But
Mhm.
do you know, Shilpa, that NIH has adopted a meal plate compared to food pyramid?
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yes, now even National Institute of Health has agreed that food pyramid is difficult to understand. Food pyramid is not practical.
Mhm.
If you want to present a balanced diet, you have to show a thali, just like an
Mhm.
Indian thali, you know. And this is a
Wonderful.
wonderful again concept, that Ayurvedic food pyramid, Ayurvedic thali. If you remember, we learned it in six test theory also. And of course, in the properties, food properties, which food is heavy means protein rich, which food is micronutrient rich. So Ayurvedic food pyramid will be totally surprisingly new for you. It will be, and it will be more compatible when we consider our daily lifestyle or cooking habits, etc. So it will be more compatible for sure, Ayurvedic pyramid.
Mm. Wonderful.
We are going to talk about that.
Beautiful. So when I mentioned ghee and honey, there's a couple of questions about that combination and that some prasad has these mixed in together. So maybe there's a certain way that it can be eaten together. I don't remember now exactly, but I remember when you were talking about incompatible food combinations, there may have been a way to mix these elements together. So are there ways to mix ghee and honey that are compatible?
Yeah, absolutely. The concept of food compatibility or incompatibility stresses on the combination of food. Honey is good, ghee is also good, but when you are mixing it together, you are mixing two foods which are having contrast property to each other.
Okay.
Honey is very hot. Honey is kapha relieving or kapha destroying, kapha reducing, and ghee is pitta healing, and it is very cold in nature. So like it is like locking up two different nature people in a same room, giving lots of weapons. So when you combine them together, they're going to be confusion within your intellect in digestive system, right? Digestive system is just like a software. Whatever
Mhm.
you are providing it is going to calculate it properly, and it is going to behave accordingly. So
Mhm.
whenever you are putting these two different nature food together or combining them and eating them in a larger quantity, then it is going to affect you. But if you are eating them in a very smaller quantity, like half tablespoon or one table, not even one tablespoon, half tablespoon. Nobody consumes ghee and honey in a larger amount, right? So if you want to consume them together, make sure that they are not in equal proportion. Usually, ghee should be twice of honey. then you can combine them together, and it will act very good prebiotic and probiotic. Honey and ghee combination is wonderful for gut health.
In a certain proportion is what you're saying.
Yes, in certain
Is the
proportion.
difference. I see. Okay. That is so interesting. So here's another question. Do you address different health conditions? So let's say somebody comes in with inflammatory gut disease or like rheumatoid arthritis, which is another inflammatory condition. Are you able to kind of say like, are we addressing these kind of conditions in terms of nutrition?
In relation with each theory and each session, there will be definitely mention of various health condition, causes, and general solutions to them in Ayurveda Essential Nutrition course. But if somebody wants to learn in depth, we are going to cover the same topic, like particular health condition and diet plans for them in the advanced nutrition, Ayurveda advanced nutrition. But essential nutrition is the first step to understand this health condition. Unless and
Okay.
until you are not aware of all these theories about diet, then you will not be able to understand how this particular food today I'm consuming is going to create psoriasis in one person, leaky gut in other person, and depression in third person. So
Wow.
same food can cause different health condition in different types of people, given different environmental exposure and other exposures. So these are very interesting and beautiful theories, and this will certainly help you to self-assess in self-assessment also. So yeah, we are going to talk about these health conditions.
Okay, but the essential nutrition course would be this requirement
Correct.
to take the advanced course, basically.
Advance, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So here's a question. What is your take on this modern disease of gluten sensitivity? Is there a way to counteract that with Ayurveda, or is it just part of modern lifestyle and where we are now with how food has been treated, how it's been raised, all of that kind of stuff,
The
grown?
food sensitivity, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
gluten sensitivity.
Gluten sensitivity. Okay. So gluten sensitivity, I will say yes, it is a kind of modern society generated condition. But in Ayurveda, there is mention of gluten intolerance, and it is addressed as a specialized type of ajirna or specialized type of indigestion. But mind you, that Ayurveda praises wheat a lot. So there are various medicinal properties of wheat, but blame pesticides, blame hybrid, so-called non-healthy agricultural practices, and sometimes mindless consumption of various food items, insulting your own appetite. These are the main reasons why someone is having a gluten allergy so common. Our immunity is down, our appetite is down, we are not following the protocols of food consumption, we are not following dinacharya, we are not at all aware what to do when we wake up. So overall, it's not about only food item that is causing allergy. It's about your weak immune system. It's about your gut dysbiosis, which is nothing but gut imbalance. So once you correct the gut health, once you increase your immunity, and once you learn how to properly eat wheat items also, then definitely the intolerance symptoms can be reduced in many people.
That's fantastic. Wow. Does Ayurveda ever recommend non-veg food?
Absolutely. There is a misconception that Ayurveda is equal to no meat, but no, Ayurveda has described almost every edible food item on planet. Trust me, lots of food, fruits, vegetables, minerals, meat. Then even Ayurveda has described 10 animal milk properties and how we can use those milk for different purposes. Nowadays, I guess sheep milk is very popular to treat diabetes, like that. So all these properties are already mentioned in Ayurveda. And yes, Ayurveda do not promote meat eating, but Ayurveda definitely describes the properties of meat, like what is the properties of chicken, ham, cow, everything is described. And
Mhm.
after describing all the properties, Ayurveda recommends that meat is not for everybody. You
Mhm.
have to have very good appetite. You have to have properly following your lifestyle. And whenever there is excess meat consumption, and Ayurveda, I mean, uh, properly mentions about red meat
Mhm.
consumption and how it can cause you various non-communicable diseases. So yeah, Ayurveda also mentions about non-communicable diseases and mindless eating of meat, which is not suitable to your prakriti, which is not suitable to your agni. It
Mhm.
can cause various skin diseases. It can cause joint disorders,
Mm.
and it can also cause cancer. Arbuda is a name for cancer. So yes, you can definitely, you will learn so many interesting things about consumption meat also.
I think like the trick is becoming aware, becoming conscious of everything we're putting in our bodies and how it's affecting our dosha and things like that. And the more aware we are, the more that the food we're putting into our body it become acts as medicine rather than as something that causes imbalance in our bodies. So one of the other things I was wondering in terms of, we're not just talking about our dosha or our constitution. I think, are you also going to be addressing things like um, our age, because, our vata increases as we age, or seasonal foods, like eating in the winter versus summer, that's going to affect your body as well. Is that something you bring up in the class?
Oh yes, nutrition and lifestyle, life stages is also a very important topic. So we are definitely going to talk on that also, like how to take care when you are young and Pitta Prakriti, how to take care if you are Pitta and Pitta Prakriti and having, like after 40s or after 60s. So yeah, we are going to talk about the impact of food and food habits on dosha in various stages.
Wonderful. So for the essential nutrition course, which is the course you're offering in the winter, there's no requirements to take it. There's no prereq, right? This is the basic
Yes,
introduction course.
yes,
Okay. And I'm
wonderful.
wondering if you can give us maybe you don't have to give us week by week, but just a general arc of what you're going to start with and where you're going to go in terms of the material.
Yeah, sure, sure. As you earlier mentioned that few people must be aware of doshas and all, but we are going to start with the basic theories, how to know the doshas, what are the properties of dosha, and then we will learn about incompatible food. We will learn about to self-assess your own agni and what causes agni imbalance and how food can correct your gut health. We will be learning about probiotics and prebiotics. Our whole session is dedicated to only prebiotics and probiotics, and that too not synthetic, but how to prepare on your natural prebiotics and probiotics. We are also going to talk about some cases and how we can give them solutions. There is a separate sessions on only recipes, so we are going to enjoy that session also. And yeah, at the end of session, there will be frequently asked questions when the students and participants are encouraged to collect as much as questions they want apart from session interaction. And we are going to discuss that also in the concluding lecture.
Beautiful. What about, we're talking about how food affects the physical health, but what about emotional health and mental health? Are those brought into the class? Because they're obviously a huge part. We're talking about mind, body connection, all of this, heart connection. Can you just touch upon that?
Yeah, sure. Can you repeat the question? I was
So
reading somebody's comment.
the question is, we're not just talking about food, the connection between food and physical health. There's a connection between food and mental health. There's a connection between food and emotional health. Like if you're eating fiery foods, it might
Gut-brain
increase
axis.
like your
Okay.
anger, right? Or something like that. Can you just address that connection between food and mental health and food and emotional health, just kind of in a nutshell?
Yeah, sure, sure. So basically, we don't have one brain, we have two brain. And the brain which is in our gut dominates the brain which is in heart, which is in head, right? So yes, gut-brain axis is a very important segment, and it is a very new in modern science. But Ayurveda recognizes the connection and the interdependence of brain and gut, um, which is very crucial. And why you lose your hunger when you are worried, or when you are very
Mhm.
sad, or sometimes if I'm going through anxiety, I'm restless, then I'll eat mindlessly. I'll suffer from the false hunger. So why
Mhm.
is this connection? Why whenever I see something very ugly or something very intolerable, why I need to vomit? You know,
Mhm.
so all these things are interconnected. Not only that, but serotonin, which is hormone and which takes part in maximum, balancing the psychological health, that is secreted 95% in gut and only 5% in brain. And the most
Mhm.
interesting fact about serotonin, that any hormone or any chemical needs to pass blood-brain barrier in the brain cells to act upon the whole body. But you will be amazed to know that serotonin cannot pass the serotonin which is secreted in the gut cannot pass blood-brain barrier. Still it acts on your emotional health. Still it
Mhm.
contributes to your psychological health. So we are definitely going to learn about that. Nutritional psychiatry, which is a very amazing branch in psychiatry, which exclusively deals with how nutrition can help in psychological disorders. So, Ayurveda has described very various mental disorders. Manasa Vikara is the name for that, and there is a beautiful protocol about food as reason and food as solutions for the psychological health. So yes, we are going to talk. I think yes, there is a separate session on gut-brain axis.
That's incredible. That's amazing. So we talked about addressing diseases and, you said more of that's going to be done in the advanced class, but what about things like common ailments like heartburn or acidity or hypertension, things like that? Is that going to be addressed in this class?
Yes, we are going to address common condition in one session, and we are also going to talk about some simple herbal formulations or home remedies or food remedies for those health conditions.
Mhm. Great. And then in terms of people with mixed doshas, that there might be um, not just vata, not just pitta, but pitta vata, that's all part of understand the first class where you're understanding the kind of constitution that you have as well, right? It's
Correct, correct.
yeah, correct.
Yes,
Okay.
like nobody is exclusively single dosha pattern.
We have
Everybody
them
has
all, right?
combination of doshas, and
Yeah.
lots of reading material will be provided because it is really difficult to cover everything in 1 hour or 1.5 hour. So I'll be providing various reading links and videos and research papers, research articles, so that whoever is more interested in learning that thing deep, they definitely will have resources.
So the course is 1 day a week for an hour and a half. It's on Thursdays. And you talking about reading materials. So are these required reading prior to the class, or are they supplemental for enrichment? How does that work?
Sorry?
Is it required reading for the class, or is it supplemental readings for enrichment?
A few readings will be required
Okay.
and few readings will be supplementary, but that is no compulsion at all. Like
Hmm.
you just have to have a good idea what you are going to learn today, and so that's it.
Hmm.
Complementary reading.
Complementary reading. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm wondering, in terms of, there's a question here about many people don't eat onions and garlic as they are considered tamasic. Does this rule apply to a specific type of person, or is it a universal rule? Um, Again, I mean, I think you'd mentioned that it depends on one's constitution, right? But I'll let you answer that.
That is a really good question. I forgot to talk about that. We are going to learn about trigunas, which is a very unique concept in Ayurveda. Again, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So I wanted to keep it for that session, but I'll just reveal that I always say that give me anything, like give me an apple, I can turn it into sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic apple. So it is a very interesting area how garlic can act sattvic and how even cow milk can act tamasic. So it's all about food process, how you are eating the food, what is the in what form you are eating the food is also really very important. So fruits are sattvic, but if you are not eating it properly, if you are eating canned food, you are eating rajasic fruit or tamasic fruits.
Mhm.
So yes, the spices like garlic and onions, how they can act tamasic and how we can use them as sattvic. So the magic we will learn in session.
Mhm. Mhm. So there's a question here specifically about honey, and honey is a sattvic food. Can that also be used in ways? I think I remember you talking about honey, and if it was put in water that was too hot, it actually was not good for the honey. So it can, like any food, it seems like can can be utilized in the right way, or can be the sattvic property can be diminished depending on how you're going to process it.
You
Can you
said
just
it.
touch upon
Yes.
that?
Yes, absolutely. It's called as samskara.
Samskara.
Yeah. How you treat the food will decide the fate.
How you treat the food will decide the fate of the food, or of your fate, basically your
Yes.
um okay, so here's a question, specific question about foods like mac and cheese. Do they have a wrong food combination according to Ayurveda? As cheese contains milk and salt, should it be avoided? Um, I mean,
Okay.
mac and
Mac and
cheese.
cheese, yeah. This is a favorite food, yeah. Many people's favorite food we are talking about, so I need to be a little bit. Okay, yeah. Basically, it is very heavy to digest. It is kapha producing, and if it is not combined with something very sour, something very spicy, or it is not combined with some kind of meat, then it remains compatible. But if you have indigestion, if your agni is weak, if you're already having respiratory system health conditions, weight cough, fever, indigestion, diarrhea, so that mac and cheese will definitely act as incompatible food for that particular person and for that particular health condition.
Mhm.
So thank you for asking these questions, because there are some food items which we cannot avoid completely in our life. So we
Mhm.
are going to learn how to eat them mindfully.
That's beautiful, right? That's wonderful. I love that. A question here about, is the class going to be in English? Yes, it will be. There's no knowledge of Sanskrit required, but you will be providing a number of Sanskrit terms, if I remember correctly. There was quite a bit of understanding the Sanskrit terminology for certain things.
We are trying to minimize those, and we definitely provide English substitute words for that. So if anybody is interested in knowing the Sanskrit term, there will be Sanskrit terms and English terms both. So it will not be at all difficult, or somebody who is not familiar with the Sanskrit will also be able to learn it very properly.
Mm.
That's not a hurdle at all.
Wonderful. And you mentioned a little bit about like a week on nutritional psychiatry. Would there be a separate class just, I mean, it's such a huge topic and it's such an interesting topic. Are you planning on a separate class just on nutritional psychiatry?
Not on nutritional psychiatry, but definitely on gut health and psychological disorder for sure.
Mhm.
And I'll be providing some wonderful blogs about nutritional psychiatry to read. Nutritional psychiatry is discussed more deeply in advanced course.
Mhm. Okay, great. And then I'm wondering about assignments. There's weekly readings, some of them are required, some of them are enrichment. And then is there an end of quarter paper, or how does that work?
Yeah, every week very simple quizzes are provided. They are very fun activity. For few sessions, I want my students and participants to ask themselves questions. So, like find which doshas are dominating in you. So it will be very fun activities, and there will not be much time consuming, etc. At the end of quarter, there will be an exam, which will again have some descriptive questions and a few quizzes. That's it.
Beautiful. And here's a question here about fasting. Are we going to be touching upon that in Ayurveda, in your class in the Ayurveda Essential Nutrition? Fasting has been quite a modern topic because people talk about, in a way, micro fasting, like having a long stretch of time between your last meal and breakfast, and kind of, fasting for cellular rejuvenation. Is that part of the class?
Yeah, fasting, the concept of fasting is a blessing from Ayurveda only.
Mhm.
Langana is the term for that. And how to do fasting, which body type is suitable for which type of fasting, intermittent fasting, one meal a day. We are going to discuss all types of fasting trends and the authentic fasting protocols.
Mhm. That sounds great. Your syllabus, is it available? I think it's probably just for students who sign up, but there's
Yes,
information
who
in the link that
enrolls.
I sent
Yeah.
in terms of understanding the course description and what's going to be talked about and the objectives of the course. So you can go to that link and find out that information. Is there a way for students to reach you if they want to specifically reach out to you? Is there an HUA email that you can share? Or
Yes, they can reach me anytime on HUA email. Oh, yes.
and what is that email? Can I put it in the chat?
Yeah, sure. It's my first name.
And in the meantime, I'm going to launch this quiz, a poll about if you are interested in enrolling in Ayurveda Essential Nutrition. So please answer the poll, and it will let us know who's all interested. And if you have questions, let us know that. And yeah, and just please take a moment to fill that out. Thank you, Dr. Rupaliji. Thank you for your email. That's helpful. So the course syllabus was not available. Um,
I can see so many interesting questions.
so
So it's a
question
good
about
thing. Yeah.
panchamrut that has honey, ghee, curd, sugar, and milk. Can you tell us about that combination?
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is a very good combination for gut health.
Mhm.
It's just how to eat and what should be the proportion, what should be the right time, and when to avoid is important. So, for regular consumption, it is a very good combination if consumed in a smaller quantity, not more than 1 tablespoon, all of
Mhm.
combined. And empty stomach is a good time to consume panchamrit. It
Mhm.
is good for immunity. It is ojas increasing combination. Ojas means the essence of all tissues, the goodness in your cells. So yeah, it is a good practice.
Good. So you mentioned, we talked a little bit about meat, but we didn't specifically touch upon fish. I'm wondering if you could just say a few words about fish in in Ayurveda.
Sure, sure. Fish, there are at least 15-20 varieties of fish are described in Ayurveda, and among them, which is good and how to eat them.
Mhm.
Especially, people are always wondering whether fish is hot or cold in properties. So, let me at least give you a clue that fish is not cold in properties, it is hot and it is heavy to digest because it
Mm.
has lots of omega-3 fatty acids, right?
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about that. And not only that, but there will be a separate session where Ayurveda has given us a very simple protocol that, okay, after giving lots of information, how common people will be able to understand that and how they will be able to follow that. So Ayurveda says, okay, let me simplify this. And it gives us a list of wholesome food items which anyone can consume in any season of any age. And then there is a food list which is called as unwholesome food items, which one has to be very careful while consuming those, even if some of the items in that list are really healthy.
Mm,
So this is also a very interesting session that I forgot to mention.
fantastic. And do you touch upon metabolism and weight loss in terms of how foods are acting upon the body in that way?
Oh, yes, yes. When people, when students will be able to understand their body type and the concept of Agni, then they will be, coming with the solution in the class.
Hmm. Good. And then all the classes are recorded, so if a student has to miss a class, it will be easy to catch up.
Yes, yes. I had few queries from few people that somebody is outside the country, someone is traveling and all. Yes, recorded classes are there, and even if you are missing on actual interaction, you can reach me anytime. You can ask questions anytime.
Wonderful. And what have you seen from your students that have gone through the course in terms of their understanding or the ways in which they've maybe expanded their perspectives? You've gone through now, you said 3 batches of students in this class, is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so what have you seen or discovered or noticed?
Oh, uh, first session and last session, if I compare that, students were and students will be and are very, very much interactive. They were very aware of the food trends, and basically there was a genuine concern about their family, their own personal health, and there was also a concern about food trends which are authorized and which are followed as like proven methods for wellness and health. So when we talk about these modern diet trends, modern food trends, and how Ayurveda can either help them to
Mhm.
work properly, or how you can use the Ayurvedic knowledge to stay away from this kind of diet trends. So at the end of course, I guess students were they were very much familiar with the properties of the food. If they are
Mhm.
talking about food classes of vegetables or food classes of grains, cereals, etc., they were very much confident about telling the properties that okay, these are madhura rasatmak, this will increase the kapha dosha, but this is also helpful for building the immunity. Then how to cook it, how to what portion should be consumed. So that kind of knowledge were there. The students really were very interested to know about modern food trends, which are can be supposed as incompatible. And they were very resourceful to add new food items in the list, which I was not aware of. So I could see definitely very much progress in understanding the food Ayurvedically.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, a food trend that comes to mind is like this idea of grains not being good for the brain and reducing grains. Do you have any comment on that?
I would like to recite a shloka as a comment for this particular question. There is a very wonderful shloka in Ayurveda that Sarva rasa satmya aharanam arogyavardhananam sreshtam. That means that the food which is consisting of all types of rasas
Mm,
is the best diet to improve your health or to preserve your health. Now, here rasa doesn't mean only taste, rasa means food class. So, if your thali is consisting of all food classes in proportionate manner, then this is the best thing you can practice for your health and wellness. So,
mm,
depriving yourself of a particular food class for a longer period is not a good idea for everyone. It
mm,
depends on which prakriti you are having, how your body condition, health condition. So there are so many factors, and you should be aware of those all those factors before adopting any diet trend.
mhm. That's fantastic. Um, and so we do have a few minutes left, so I'm wanting to ask, are you teaching the advanced class next quarter? Is this the idea to teach the essential nutrition this quarter and then move the students into an advanced class next quarter?
Yes, we are planning it. Yeah.
Hmm. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And there's also, I believe, a certificate in Ayurveda that's being offered through through HUA.
Sorry?
A certificate is there in the Ayurvedic program?
Yeah, absolutely. HUA is building a wonderful certificate Ayurveda program where you can have elaborate courses, not only Ayurveda nutrition, but it will be a almost 1 year and a half certificate course, which will be equivalent to Ayurveda counselor.
An Ayurveda counselor, so you will
Yeah,
have enough knowledge
correct.
to not only help yourself, but help others in terms of
Absolutely,
understanding diet.
absolutely.
That's fantastic. And that's wonderful. So there's other courses there's a whole range of courses in the
Yes,
HUA Ayurvedic program, yeah, that are offered.
yes.
That's fantastic. Wonderful.
And this course will be that credits gained from this course will be transferred to the certificate course in Ayurveda in future also. So if
Mhm.
somebody is taking Ayurveda nutrition class this semester, they can use their credits if they are interested in getting the certificate of Ayurveda.
Mhm. Beautiful, wonderful. And let's see, there's one more question here. Let's see. Um, oh, question for me. What stood out for you in the course for you? Thank you. Well, a lot stood out for me. Thank you for that question. A lot stood out for me. It's been a while since I've taken the class, but what I remembered was becoming very aware of food combinations, certain incompatibilities, and the six tastes, like really understanding what they bring, um, why they're important, um, and because I tended to stay away from more spicy foods or whatever, and I understood the value of bringing a little bit of each of this into like the thali, into the meals. I learned so much. There was so much to talk about in terms of seasonal food. Um, I mean, all the things that you touched upon, Rupali ji. So there was a lot, and it was a very informative course. So I definitely recommend it for everybody who is watching this webinar. And here's a question: Is this the first course in the series for the certification program, or you can take any number of courses, right?
Yes, yes, you can take any number of courses parallelly.
Mm, okay, good. And I think that's it. Is there any last words you would like to share with the audience before we finish up today? Because we're almost at the hour.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I would like to conclude today's webinar with a wonderful Mahabharata shloka. Now, Mahabharata is not related to, like Ayurveda or health, but the Krishna says that um, I have to remember that beautiful shlok, but this is my favorite that Sarva Bhutani Jayate Annat Prajapati Mahipati. So the king or the Krishna is addressing to every living creature on the planet, and the credit goes to Ahara, credit goes to Anna. So that is the reason for life, and that is also the reason for destruction. Krishna also says that Ahara can either hold you or Ahara can either destroy you. So to
Mm.
be aware of that is really very important because the Ahara is given out. It is compared to a diya. You know what does diya or light or oil lamp does? It consumes the darkness. It consumes the unwanted, depressing, and scary darkness. And what does it produce? A very sticky black kajali or very sticky black, atom. So it's just like that. Whatever kind of food you are going to eat, it is not going to affect only you, but it is going to reflect on the coming generations also. So it is really very important
Mm.
to treat ahara as God. That's why I guess Annam Parabrahmajaniyat is addressed that treat your food like God, treat your food with respect, and then you will be able to understand the importance. Then you will be, what do you say? You will be involved properly in whatever food you are consuming. you will be mindful basically. So yeah, if you want to learn more about Ayurveda aspects of food, Ayurveda Essential Nutrition will be your step one.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Rupali Ji. Thank you, everyone, for joining from all over. It was wonderful to have you spend your evening with us today. Please check out Dr. Rupali's course, Ayurveda Essential Nutrition. There's so much information on the website. I've provided the link in the chat and hope you all do join. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Eat well, be well. Good night.
Thank you, Shilpa ji. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Good night.